Go over there." As the American fleet moved toward the Strait of Hormuz to reopen one of the world's most critical oil routes, they ran straight into a deadly barrier. Iranian forces had seeded the water with underwater mines, turning the narrow passage into a hidden minefield and bringing all maritime traffic to a halt. Clearing those mines would be one of the most dangerous phases of the entire mission. It demanded precision, patience, and constant vigilance, all while under the very real threat of Iranian air and missile attacks. These weren't the simple contact mines of past wars. Modern naval mines are far more advanced. Some rest silently on the seabed, others are anchored below the surface, completely invisible from above. They don't need to be touched to kill. They rely on sensors. Magnetic sensors detect the distortion caused by a ship's metal hull. Acoustic sensors listen for the unique sound of engines and propellers. Pressure sensors track changes in water displacement as a vessel passes overhead. The most advanced mines combine all three systems. They wait, they calculate, and only when the exact conditions are met, they detonate. A ship can be destroyed without ever making contact. While unmanned underwater drones scanned large sections of the area, some situations required human precision. Below deck, Navy explosive ordnance disposal divers began preparing. They pulled on wetsuits, secured their breathing systems, and checked every piece of equipment: dive computers, lights, communication gear, tools. Once ready, they boarded rigid inflatable boats and moved out toward coordinates identified by the sonar teams. At the same time, the rest of the fleet shifted into full defensive posture. Gunners stood ready behind heavy machine guns. Lookouts scanned the horizon without pause. Every eye was on the sky and the sea. The threat was constant. A drone strike, a missile launch. At this speed, during mine clearance, the fleet was vulnerable. So they slowed down. Every ship reduced speed to a crawl. Moving too fast meant risking a direct hit on an unseen mine. Sonar systems stayed active, sweeping the waters ahead. Cruisers and submarines moved to full combat readiness. Air defense systems locked onto the skies, tracking potential threats like Iranian Shahed drones and incoming missiles. From the carrier, helicopters lifted off and spread out ahead of the formation. Door gunners stayed locked in position, scanning for threats. Some helicopters dragged sonar equipment through the water, mapping the seabed in real time. Sector by sector, they cleared a path. Finally, the divers reached their target. They entered the water and descended slowly, guided by sonar data. Visibility was poor. Only beams of light cut through the darkness as they moved across the seabed. Then they found it. A mine, wedged deep into coral, partially buried, positioned in a way that made it too dangerous for a drone to handle. The divers moved in carefully, inspecting it up close. They confirmed its type and condition, relaying everything back to the ship. The call was made. Too risky to disarm manually. They marked the location and began their ascent, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and the device. Back on the surface, they returned to their boat. From the ship, a remotely operated disposal vehicle was deployed. The small submersible slipped into the water and descended, guided by an operator watching a live video feed. Inside the operations room, the commanding officer, EOD team leader, and sonar operators watched the same screen. Every movement, every detail. The vehicle approached the mine carefully and placed a charge beside it. The operator confirmed placement, then backed away. Seconds later, the charge detonated. A muted underwater blast sent a column of water and debris rising to the surface. The mine was gone. Sonar confirmed it. The path was clear, but the mission wasn't over. Below deck, ammunition crews moved fast, bringing up crates of belted rounds. They unpacked, inspected, and loaded them into deck-mounted heavy machine guns. Up top, gunners locked in and fired short bursts over the water. Weapons checked, systems ready. These guns had two roles. They could take down enemy drones in the sky, and they could destroy any floating mines before they got too close. The fleet moved forward, slowly, carefully, one cleared path at a time.